If you have been working in Power BI, Synapse, or Databricks for a while, you probably had this experience. Someone in your organization mentions Microsoft Fabric. You nod, you Google it, and 90% of what you find is marketing language. Unified analytics platform, end-to-end data and AI powered. None of which tells you one thing you actually want to know, which is what Fabric is architecturally and how it relates to the tools you already use. So this is the version of that explanation I wish someone had given me. No marketing speak, no data is the new oil kind of stuff, just what Fabric actually is, what's genuinely new about it, what's been rebranded from existing services, and where it sits relative to Synapse, Databricks, and Power BI Premium. So if you're interested, keep watching. Microsoft Fabric is a SaaSified bundle of Power BI Premium, Synapse Analytics, and Data Factory with a unified storage layer called OneLake, built through a single compute meter called a capacity. And that's it. That's the whole product. Everything else, lakehouses, warehouses, KQL databases, data activators, real-time intelligence, is a workload that runs on top of that foundation. If you understand the foundation, rest is just naming. There are 4 concepts that actually matters: capacities, OneLake, Delta Parquet, and shortcuts. Get these 4 right and the rest of the fabric falls into place. Capacity is the compute. In Power BI Premium, you had P SKUs, P1, P2, and so on. In Fabric, you have F SKUs, F2 through F2048. The number is roughly proportional to the compute units you get. F64 is the threshold where free Power BI viewer access kicks in for users in your tenant, which is rough equivalent of an old P1. The big difference from Premium is that one capacity builds every workload. Your Spark notebooks, your warehouse queries, your data flows, your Power BI report rendering, all of it pulls from the same pool of capacity units. And this is genuinely useful. You can pause an F SKU when you don't need it. Premium P SKUs you couldn't. OneLake is the storage layer. It's literally one ADLS Gen 2 storage account per tenant automatically provisioned that every Fabric item writes to. Microsoft marketed it as OneDrive for data, which is annoying but actually a reasonable mental model. It's a single hierarchical namespace for the whole organization. Workspaces are top-level folders. Lakehouses, warehouses, and KQL databases are items inside those folders. And as a developer, you don't provision storage accounts, you don't manage containers, you don't deal with access keys. It's just there. Delta Parquet is the file format. Every workload in Fabric, the lakehouse, the warehouse, even the semantic model behind Power BI, when you use Direct Lake, reads and writes Delta formatted Parquet files. This is the same Delta Lake spec that Databricks uses. It's open and you can point Spark at it from anywhere. This matters because it means your data is not in a proprietary format you can't get out of. Shortcuts are symbolic links. You can create a shortcut in OneLake that points to the data sitting in S3 in another ADLS account, in Google Cloud Storage, in another Fabric workspace, in a Dataverse table. The data is not copied. Queries go through the shortcut to the source. This is probably the most genuinely new and interesting thing in Fabric because it means you can build a virtual data lake across clouds without ETL. Those 4 things, capacity, OneLake, Delta, shortcuts, are Fabric. Everything else is a workload. If you live in Power BI, Fabric is mostly an evolution of Premium. Your workspaces are still workspaces, your reports are still reports, datasets are now called semantic models, but they're the same thing. Same tabular engine, same DAX, same XMLA endpoint. The one feature you should actually care about is Direct Lake mode. You already know about import and direct query. Direct Lake is a third storage mode where the semantic model reads Delta Parquet file directly from OneLake without importing them and without translating to SQL like Direct Query does. You get something close to import mode performance with something close to direct query freshness. Because there is no refresh, the model just reads the latest file. Now there are caveats. Direct Lake has fallback behavior where under certain conditions it silently switches to direct query. And that's where performance degrades. Composite model with Direct Lake have specific rules and it only works against lakehouse or warehouse source in OneLake. But when it works, it's the most significant change to Power BI engine in years. The other thing worth knowing is Dataflow Gen 2 is Fabric replacement for Power BI data flows. Same Power Query M language under the hood, but Gen 2 Dataflow can write to lakehouses, warehouses, KQL databases, and Azure SQL, in addition to Dataflow's own storage. And they run on Fabric capacity instead of premium capacity, which in my experience usually means faster on equivalent SKUs. Fabric is a successor to Azure Synapse Analytics. Microsoft hasn't said the word deprecated out loud, but no significant new feature are landing in Synapse workspaces. New workload should go to Fabric. The mapping is roughly this. Synapse dedicated SQL pools become Fabric warehouses, but the engine is different. Fabric warehouses uses the distributed query engine called Polaris that reads Delta Parquet directly instead of MPP over column store tables. Synapse serverless SQL pools have a similar role to Fabric warehouse SQL endpoint. Read-only T-SQL over files and storage. Synapse Spark pools becomes the Spark engine in Fabric Lakehouse. Some Spark similar configuration, but you don't manage pool sizes the same way because compute scales against capacity. Synapse pipeline are now data factory in Fabric, which is actually a step back in some areas. The bigger shift is conceptual. Synapse was PaaS. You provision resources, you own the resource group, and you paid for what you're running and idle. Fabric is SaaS. You buy a capacity, you create items, the platform handles everything underneath. If you like the control, this is a downgrade. But if you hated managing dedicated SQL pools DTUs at 2 AM, this is a relief. Okay, so now this is the comparison Microsoft does not want to talk about plainly, so let me. Both Fabric and Databricks are lakehouse architectures. Both use Delta Lake. Both have notebooks, SQL warehouses, and ML tooling. Architecturally, they are more similar than they are different. The difference that actually matters is Databricks is multi-cloud, which means AWS, Azure, GCP. Fabric runs on Azure infrastructure, but OneLake shortcuts can read from S3 and GCS, which softens that constraint somewhat for analytics workload. Databricks gives you significant more control over Spark's configuration, cluster sizing, runtime version, and library management. Fabric abstracts most of that away. If you have engineers who tune Spark for a living, Fabric will feel restrictive. If you don't, Fabric will feel easier. Databricks has Unity Catalog for governance. Fabric has OneLake security with workspaces and item level permission. Databricks SQL Warehouse versus Fabric Warehouse is closer than other comparisons. Both are Delta native distributed SQL engines. Performance benchmark vary by workload and depend on who paid for the benchmark. The deciding factor is usually ecosystem. If your organization runs on Microsoft 365, Power BI, Teams, and Purview, Fabric integrates in a way Databricks cannot match. If your organization runs on AWS or has heavy custom ML pipelines, Databricks is still the safer choice. Most of the Fabric is rebranded existing technology. The Spark engine is Synapse Spark. The warehouse engine is the SQL DW Polaris work that has been in development for years. Power BI is Power BI. Data Factory is Data Factory. Real-time intelligence is Azure Data Explorer. Same KQL, same engine with new wrapper. Even OneLake is ADLS Gen 2 with management abstractions on top. What's genuinely new in my view is three things. One, the unified capacity model where one bill covers every workload and you can pause it. Two, direct link mode in the Power BI engine, which is the first real architectural change to the tabular engine storage model in over a decade. And three, OneLake shortcuts, which are the closest thing that the data industry has to a working virtual lake spec across clouds. Everything else is integration and packaging, which is definitely not a criticism. The integration is the value proposition. But you should not believe anyone who tells you Fabric is a from scratch new platform. So at the end, the main question, when to use Fabric and when not to. Use Fabric when your organization is already heavily Microsoft, when your analysts are Power BI first, when you want one bill instead of 7, and when you don't want to manage infrastructure. The smaller F SKUs make Fabric viable for small teams in a way premium P SKUs never were. You can start at F2 and then pause it overnight. Don't use Fabric yet when you need true multi-cloud, when you have specific Spark or ML tooling requirements that Databricks does better, when you need features still missing from Fabric that exist in Synapse, or when your governance model depends on tooling that doesn't yet integrate cleanly with OneLake. And one piece of practical advice, test your FSKU's sizing carefully. Capacity throttling in Fabric is more aggressive than in Premium, and an undersized capacity will make every workload feel slow simultaneously, which is a worse failure mode than one slow report. So that's Fabric: capacity, OneLake, Delta, Shortcut, and a stack of workloads that mostly already existed under different names. If you understood those 4 foundation concepts, every new feature Microsoft ships on top of Fabric will make sense without the marketing decoder ring. So that's it from my side for today. If you like the content, then please consider subscribing to the channel and hit that notification bell icon so that you do not miss any content that I upload. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.